This is the last of my Duke Nukem videos, and it's more of a final thoughts video. I apologise to all 5 of the people who are actually watching the playthrough, but they were all just recorded the day after I got the game, and it was more of a test anyway. Now, it was about this time when I was playing Duke Nukem originally that I realised just how bad the graphics were. At least they were bad for the Xbox 360. They wouldn't have been bad for maybe the Nintendo 64 or PlayStation 1. And they may even still have been good for the Xbox or PS2. Especially if you took away the HD. In fact, minus the HD, there are games on the Xbox and the PlayStation 2 that looked better than Duke Nukem Forever. And the point I'm trying to make is, that's the console the game was designed for. The game's been in development for over 10 years. I don't even know what that's supposed to mean. I can tell you one thing, that doesn't mean the game's been worked on non-stop for over 10 years. I could say that this review's been in development for over 10 years, but that doesn't mean that I've been consistently working on it. In fact, fuck it, I'm 24 now. My entire life has been leading up to this one moment, and this review's been in development for 24 years. But it doesn't really bother me that the graphics aren't that great anyway. Graphics are like the strings in a Punch and Judy show. They're only there to hold the whole thing together. You don't go to a Punch and Judy show to watch the strings, and if you do, you're sick. And I would say the same for games. You don't play games to look at pretty pictures. And if you do, then I would just recommend you to buy a movie. And that isn't even a joke. For me, games are all about the gameplay, and as long as the graphics aren't so bad that it gets in the way of the gameplay, it's never a bad thing. With all that being said though, sometimes there are reasons for games not to be released. And I think we can all see what those reasons are when playing Duke Nukem Forever. I can't help but feel like the game's unfinished. And it certainly doesn't play like Duke Nukem 3D. And you can see why 3D Realms didn't want to release the game. But I'm not even saying that it's a bad thing this game was released. In fact, I think it was pretty good. Because it gives all the Duke Nukem fans a chance to play a game that they otherwise wouldn't have been able to. But I just didn't like the way the game was advertised, or the promotional videos it released to make the game look really a lot better than it actually is. But of course, Gearbox aren't going to advertise it as, "Hey kids, do you like unfinished games? Do you like buying games just for their names like GoldenEye Reloaded, even though it's nothing like the old game? Do you like games that the original developers didn't even want to release? Then you're going to love Duke Nukem Forever." Sometimes I wish we lived in a world where stuff like that could happen, but sadly we don't. And thanks to Gearbox, there was more hype about Duke Nukem Forever than there was about the Royal Wedding. But of course that's just to drive sales, which is what games are about nowadays. I just want to end this video explaining a little bit more why I'm not continuing my playthrough. I could give the classic breakup excuse, the one that you would give to a girl you're no longer attracted to, and say that I'm just too busy with other things. But everyone knows that no matter how busy you are, if you really love something you would make time for it. And the truth is, I just don't love Duke Nukem. And I think it's important when you're doing things like this to be passionate about doing it, and I just wouldn't be passionate enough to continue the playthrough. So I've decided to spend that time in other games. So thanks to all 5 people for watching the playthrough. I wouldn't recommend anyone to buy this game, but I did hear that they might be making a remake of Duke Nukem 3D, so I guess we'll just have to wait and see how that turns out.